everyone. We're really excited today, obviously, this being the inauguration of Joseph R. Biden as our 46th president, as well as the inauguration of our new vice president, Kamala Harris. And so it truly is an historic day. It's an important day. And I think certainly for me, it sort of is the transition point from what we've experienced over the past 4 years. So I'm really excited. How are you feeling, Erica?
Feeling great. It's a historic day. Like today, we have seen hopefully what is the beginning of the end of policies that were very divisive and pushing people to one side or the other in our country. We watched history be made with the first African American and Asian American woman being sworn in as vice president of the United States. And I can only say that there were tears of joy in my eyes, which I didn't expect, but rightfully so, right? That someone who looks like me was afforded the opportunity to ascend to one of the highest offices in this land. And so that was exciting to think about, and to think about all of the possibilities with the trifecta of a presidency, a Senate majority, and a House majority to finally bring some relief to families that have been dealing with so much over this last year. All of the devastation that folks have witnessed, from some folks losing their jobs to 400,000 people losing their lives, and to finally have somebody who's willing to take that seriously is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Well, as folks come on in, let us start this conversation, and I'll introduce myself. My name is Greg Kelly, and I have the amazing honor of serving as president of SCIU Healthcare, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas. And I am joined by a few friends. First, I'd invite the lady who was just speaking, Erica Bland Durosinimi. It gets me every time to introduce herself.
Good afternoon, SCIU Healthcare. It is always an honor and a privilege to be in a space to address you all and have a conversation. My name is Erica Bland Durosimi, and I serve as your Executive Vice President of SCIU Healthcare, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas. And I look forward to the conversation we're going to have today. Thanks, Greg.
So again, we are going to have a little conversation this afternoon about Inauguration Day, how folks feel about it, even then to get into a little bit about Biden's policies or proposed policies and what we need to do to try to make sure that they are policies that help working people like our members. And we have some amazing members on this Zoom right now, so I want to invite a few of them, including my brother, Maurice Champion. Could you introduce yourself, Maurice? Tell them who you are and where you work at.
Hi, my name is Maurice Champion. I'm the Chief Union Steward at the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center. And today is a great day in government history and everywhere around the country.
All right. And then reaching us down in Effingham, Illinois, is a rock star, home care worker, provider, amazing person, Lily Cleaton. Tell us where you are and who you are.
I am Lily Cleaton, and I live in Effingham, Illinois, so I'm kind of in the middle. I am a PA. I take care of my son along with my husband. We both take care of him, and he actually happens to be there, so you can look at him. So yeah, today is such an exciting day. I had to do a facilitating this morning, so I was watching during that, so I didn't get to hear everything. But man, as soon as I heard Lady Gaga start singing the national anthem, I got chills all over, and I am still so excited. I cannot wait to get going. I am so ready for all this.
Awesome. So we've heard from hospital worker, a home care worker, and now we have with us a child care provider. I'd invite Jamila Wilson to join the conversation. How you feeling, Jamila?
I'm doing well, Greg. My name is Jamila Wilson. I'm a family child care and here in the city of Chicago for over 15 years now. And I'm also a member of SCIU. Um, actually going off what everyone's saying, today was a great day as far as seeing our new president and vice president take control. Being a Black woman, this was actually one of the best things I ever seen thus far. But I'm just actually happy and ecstatic and ready to work with our new president and vice president to make changes.
Awesome, awesome. And so that we're going to engage in a conversation with all of the amazing people who just introduced themselves. If you're just joining us again, my name is Greg Kelly, president of SCIU Healthcare, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas. And we're going to have a conversation today about our newly inaugurated Biden administration. And some of you all kind of started a little bit on it. Eric, I'd invite you first, if you could just talk a little bit, like what does this day mean for you? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Thanks, Greg. I mean, what this day means for me is that there's finally somebody who's seriously thinking about everything that people in this country have been through in the last year, the last 4 years, families who've been torn apart, kids that have been put in cages, people who've lost their lives, lost their jobs, and not had a real ability to live and thrive the way that we all deserve. So we've seen somebody who walked in the door, and even before he walked in the door, presented a plan around how he was willing to step up to the job and make sure that people had what they needed, talking about direct aid to families, direct aid to states and to cities, because we know that these are the things that are needed. So many of us, our governments and our families personally have suffered. So to watch somebody be able to take that seriously, to talk about unity, right? Not to even just address his party, but for the first time in 4 years, we've seen somebody who is speaking to all of America. And I think that that matters. And hopefully people will take that message forward and understand that this is the moment for real unity in this country.
That's awesome. Maurice, so now you're over at the VA. Our amazing members that work at the VA, Veterans Administrations that take care of folks like my dad. Thank you all for what you all do every single day. But you all actually have been on the front lines of attacks from the former administration. And can you talk a little bit about that and how you're feeling about things today?
Well, today is, the great day in VA history as far as being a government worker here. With the things that Trump tried to do to us, privatize us, take away the unions from here. It was like a 4-year nightmare, and it didn't make sense. Everything, we had to get the trust back into our employees here to actually tell them, hey, we're not going nowhere. We're going to fight to the end. And we did, but it wasn't easy, man. I mean, it wasn't fighting, do walkouts on them and all that, because they weren't gonna rid us here, because we are here for the employees, we're here for the veterans and the patients, So it was tough. I tell you, it was 4 years of hell.
But things are looking up a little bit, right?
Oh man, hey, you see, we in our office, right? You see, we're in the office, so hey, that's a great thing. And you know what? In these next 4 years, they're gonna be even better. Seeing all blue.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Maurice. So, Lily, you spoke a little bit about how emotional you felt about things, and I think it's important to share that a little bit with folks. I think, for these past 4 years, I certainly remember very clearly, not just when he won in 2016, but also I remember his inauguration speech in 2017, which was one of the most horrifying speeches I have ever heard. And to have gone through these 4 years and trying to steel and prepare yourself for the onslaught kind of made us sort of stoic in a way that, and so today to see the speech that Biden gave sort of, I think, melted away some of stoicism. Some of us cried. Of course, I didn't at all, but some of us shed tears.
Be real, Greg.
But some of us were very emotional because of what we have experienced over the past 4 years. And so, can you talk a little bit about how you're feeling about it, and your thoughts and what you conveyed to us earlier?
Yeah, I don't get real emotional about things like that normally, but I just couldn't believe I just had I still have goosebumps, and yes, I might have cried a little bit. So, but it's been such a horrible 4 years. It's you can't really articulate exactly how bad, but just looking out, and so many people have died for no reason, and then the attack on the Capitol, that was but they were prepared for the Black Lives Matter protest, but not this one. So I was just becoming so frustrated and so angry so often, and I didn't like that at all. So today, listening to Vice President elect Harris and President Biden being sworn in is just the it's so overwhelming to me, and I cannot wait to work with them, doing whatever I can behind the scenes, because I think that's so important for all of us to get out there and know that we actually do care for each other. We are family. I mean, he won in a landslide by vote, so that's got to tell somebody something. But I am just so excited today. It's hard to put into words, Greg.
I feel you, for real. I really do. So I think, so Jamila, you are a child care provider, and obviously, even, before COVID, there were challenges in child care delivery, but since COVID and the utter failure of the Trump administration to take it on and handle it has had really dire consequences for our children. And so well, I guess I would ask you, so what does this mean to you, a new a new administration coming in, focusing on providing what's needed for childcare providers, saying that he's going to put kids first? What does that mean for you? How do you feel about that?
As
And
far
then
as
just
the
your
child,
overall feeling about today. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Overall, I feel excited, anxious, hopeful. But as far as childcare, I'm more so happy because we have a president now and a VP as well, that's aiming to be there for the children and families that we serve. You have kids and you teach them right from wrong. And at the time, we had a president that was not showing great leadership. So now we can actually prove to the kids, or actually have some kind of tangible thing that they can see of leadership out there, that someone's following rules, like putting on their mask, like getting vaccinated, getting tested. So we have somebody, a president and a vice president, that can actually show the children that we serve and care for these things. And it warms my heart that we have that back in the head position in the United States. And as far as getting down to like different things with childcare, as far as getting more funding for childcare, we got to work harder at our lower level, and then I'm sure they're going to be backing us up as well. So I have no doubt about that. But I'm just happy that we have someone there that could actually show our children that how things are supposed to be done, and show good leadership.
That is such a great point that I don't think we've made enough over these past 4 years. The role of the presidency is an incredibly important one, and people look to the president to lead and represent us. And so how can, in fact, you encourage your kids to engage in, positive behavior when the top person in the country is teaching us all, or giving by example, all the wrong things, from his lies to, you just go on and on. So I really appreciate you making that point. one of the things that we also wanted to cover a little bit, we're obviously excited about the day. We think it's one step forward, and we need to make sure that we continue to take step forward. And it isn't going to happen just by wishing it will happen. We will have some work to do beyond today. There are a number of proposals that Biden has offered that will directly impact our members, whether you work in a hospital, whether you work in nursing homes, whether you work in childcare, whether it's home care, whatever it is, there are proposals on the table now that will have a tremendous impact on all of our members. And so, Erica, could you talk a little bit about some of those proposals and how we need to be thinking about the coming days and months as HCIIMK members?
Sure. I want to read a few comments that we have in the comment section from some members who've shared their thoughts. Patricia Johnson says, I felt great watching it from beginning to end. Historic, great moments. We have Osmond Dumas, who said January 6th was a horrible day. Today is a new start. And then Roseanne Townsend says, we have a lot of work ahead of us in unity, and we can and will get it done. Change is here. So I think it's really important. If folks are watching, if you could share the Facebook link so that more members can see this, we would appreciate it in this moment as we continue this conversation. Some of the things that we've heard from President Biden as a part of his recovery package, which has a hefty price tag when people hear, $1 trillion+ dollars. But when we think about what people have been through, we have to acknowledge that there has been a lot of devastation, and that devastation is going to, in fact, cost money to rectify. We've got to get the money into hands of people who need it the most. And so we've seen a couple of stimulus packages come out already. A part of what we're seeing in his latest proposal is another $1,600 payment that would go directly to families, or $1,400, excuse me, to round out the $2,000 that people have been pushing. What we know is that families who are devastated, families who are lower income, when you put money into the hands of those people, you stimulate the economy. So we look forward to those direct payments to families. We look forward to an expansion of the ACA tax credits, because that means that more people will have access to health care. And when we are living in a pandemic, right, where the greatest disparities are being exposed about who has access and who doesn't to health care, who has the pre-existing conditions that make them more susceptible to this disease, we have to address those things. So being able to see somebody come in and provide leadership and say, we're going to extend tax credits for ACA because we know that people need healthcare in this moment is something that is remarkable for us to think about. I think also another thing that we're talking about is states and local cities, right? When we talk about, we all know we're facing budget crisis in our cities across the country. We've seen the Trump tax breaks that gave taxes to the rich, and ultimately what that meant was that it made more of a tax burden for the folks of us who are at the bottom. And so finally, to be able to see some of that rectify in the reworking of the tax structure, to be able to see more assistance given to states and local governments who did their best because there was no real federal leadership to address the crisis, spend the money they needed to provide the policies that were necessary to do eviction moratoriums and things of that nature. Those things cost money, but they ultimately have ramifications on what our city and state budgets look like. And so to see that relief coming in will be welcome for us to see what it looks like. He's also talked about spending, hundreds of billions of dollars, millions, not billion, no, billions. I'm sorry. That's right. Billions. It's a lot of money to address COVID testing and also, right, the vaccine. So what we've seen so far is that there's been a very poor rollout of the vaccine as far as education and also availability. What we'll see is a more streamlined process now. They're getting more money and resources into the hands of local governments that are going to provide those things once this package is passed. And we're praying, and we are also here to do the work like Roseanne Townsend talked about, right? We want to make sure that these proposals are great, right? We need relief for our state and local governments. We need to make sure we get money into the hands of people. We need to make sure that there's a $15 minimum wage, right? Here in the state of Illinois, we've been fortunate enough to pass that, in Chicago first and then in the rest of the state. But now to actually watch somebody acknowledge the policies that we've been fighting for, and to recognize that a minimum wage that is across this country vary depending on where you live. No matter what it is, nobody is at 15 now, and 15 alone is still not sustainable, but it is a start and a heck of a lot better than where we are right now. It's important, right? The right to protect our ability to organize. We fought off vicious attacks. Maurice just spoke about the ones with the VA. We also faced those with our DOORS workers, in terms of him trying to take away the right of our members to be able to participate and pay dues to their union. And so protecting the right for people to decide to come together and fight for more doesn't mean more in any other space than it does in this space as SEIU healthcare. So those are just a few things to run through the list of policies that are being presented, but some of the things that I am extremely excited to get down to work on, in addition to paid sick leave and family medical leave.
Thank you, Erica. I wanted to read a couple of the comments. June Camacho said, "I'm not into politics, but listening to Biden really caught my attention." And I focused on that particular comment because I think it's an important one. A lot of us aren't crazy about politics, right? Politicians lie, they do all these things, but they hold so much control over our livelihoods. So as much as we don't like it, we sort of have to figure out how to get beyond our dislike and fully engage around politics. So I am very happy that Biden caught your attention, and it's going to be up to us to make sure that we hold him accountable to all of the things that he promised. In a lot of ways, we have a brand new car, and it's a nice, shiny new vehicle. And so we're going to have to figure out how to put some gas in that thing to make it go. Because if there's no gas in it, it can't go. And to my mind, the gas is us, right? It's us, it's our union. It's all of us coming together to fight and move forward to get what we need and we deserve. Again, politics is a means to an end. And the end is for us making life better for working people. And so I'm hopeful that as we continue to engage going forward, that more of us will stand up and fight and demand that President Biden do what he said he would. Because to now, it's just words. I believe him, but we got to make him do it. So that's our responsibility collectively as a union going forward. And then I want to read Bonita Williams' comment. She says, "We will still fight for what's right. 46 is on the side of all people, so let's pray and get behind him for the country." And Bonita, great comment. Maurice, I know you're actually over now there with a number of other union folks. How's the feeling over there at the VA right now?
Oh man, it's ecstatic, man. It's like being at a Bulls game, with fans though, with fans. Yeah, it's definitely, awesome. Man. It's people don't understand. Working the last 4 years here at the VA, fighting people, the negativity, everything that went on here, and we, me, Susan, Terry, James, all of us, Richard, we fought every day, but the best part about it, that made us closer as a union family too, and people understand, man, I hate to say it like this, we had a fool in the office. And just like Lily, the young lady with the t-shirt said, the adult daycare is over now. We got grown folks in the office now. And that's going to handle business now, and it's sad to say, but you know what? Good days are ahead of us now, man. Good days are ahead of us now, and it's beautiful. I come to work, even though we was going through what we was going through here at the VA, I still came to work every day positive. I came to work with a smile every day because I knew the black cloud was going to be lifted sooner or later. And guess what? the black cloud is lifted, and a new day has begun.
That's right.
You know, so,
You're so right. One of the things Joe Biden said, I was like, he about to take us to church, right? When he said, you know, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
yes.
And that touched me so much to think, you know, people have really suffered. But to watch
Yes.
like just the feeling of the weight being lifted off of our shoulders. You know, we are not distracted at all, and know that there is still a lot of work to be done. And so we can't take for granted, just like when we win the election and we say, you know, it's not over, that's only one step. This inauguration is just one step, and we have so much work to do to make sure that these policies that he talked about actually become policy. And so that means knocking the doors, making the phone calls, writing the letters to your Congress people, and maybe somebody else's Congress person, right? Because we might need to focus on people in another state. We know in the Senate, Joe Manchin is going to be somebody we are going to have to move, right, to make sure that people get the help that they need. But this union knows how to work. That I know for sure. And so I think we're ready to roll up our sleeves and do it.
Yeah. Lily, if I could just ask, so one of the things that we often lose sight of with our union is that we're all over the place. You know, we're in Missouri, we're in Indiana, right? And we're in Kansas, right? And in Illinois, we're not just in Chicago, we're not just in Cook County, we're in Effingham. And Effingham, Lily, is how far from Chicago? About 200 miles?
Yes, it's about 4 hours.
Yeah, and so our members are doing the work in places like Effingham, they're in Mount Vernon, they're in Rock Island, and all of this that's happening in our country impacts all of us. And so I guess my question is, or if you could just make a comment to this idea that we are this unique thing of people from different backgrounds, different cultures. Some of us live in cities, some of us live in suburbs, some of us are in rural areas, but that it is truly this multiracial democracy, this group of people from different backgrounds coming together for a common cause is what makes the union strong. And so can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, I mean, I have to, when I first started and heard about the union, I was like, what's that, you know? So I have gotten really involved because I've learned what it is. It's family. It's taking that time and actually listening to somebody else and helping them to understand what union means. It's not just a thing that you get involved or just talk about, or they're the ones that got us our raise. It's all of us gathering together. And I think that's one thing I'm kind of excited about is we're doing meetings on Zoom all the time, and a lot of members don't join those, but man, you should, because you learn a lot. If you don't know what's going on, I've talked to people that didn't even know that we had a raise. So if you're not involved, get involved just to learn what's going on. And you don't have to be in the city. I'm in Effingham, for Pete's sake. It's a little town way down in central southern Illinois. So we have 10,000 people. It's not real big, but I know for a fact that my son, my husband, and I have made a difference in Effingham to let people know what we do and what it's about. Home care workers don't get a lot of anything, and President Biden actually has a plan for that, has a plan for home care. And I think that's so important, and I'm very excited about getting to work with all of these things because I'm here to help other people too. And it's not about me, it's about getting those people involved and taken care of that need to be taken care of.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, if I could just ask Jamila, just if she could chime in and do a pitch for getting more child care providers or other folks, why it's important that they engage and get involved in the union, and even what it's meant for you.
Thanks, Greg. Even though we have President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in office right now, we still have to do the work ourselves. As child care providers, I learned probably 2 years into it, I have to fight for what I believe in. I have to fight for the children and families that I serve. I have to advocate for them. If we don't, we will not be heard or anything. And I think childcare providers should join on to the union because we always say, because I'm a part of a leadership organization in the union, we always say we don't want to separate ourselves as saying the union, because we are the union. We make up the union. As childcare providers, we are out there fighting for what we want and what we need. So the more on board, the more we can get things passed that we need for the children and families that we serve. So that should be one in itself that childcare providers should join on. And also it benefits us. We stay abreast, like Lily was saying, we stay abreast to the issue. We know about what's going on as far as getting our raises and everything. We can find out things that we should be fighting for as opposed to listening to other nonsense and media information that's incorrect. We'll learn hands-on what we need to know about the childcare industry. So it's very beneficial as far as being educated about what's going on in the field, keeping you abreast of certain issues going on, especially during COVID times. A lot of the union has helped a lot of providers stay open, giving them information as far as safety protocol, getting the restoration grant. All that information that we all work hard for, you can get that as being a part of the union.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I guess the one thing I would say, and then Eric, I'll hand it off to you, and then I guess we'll start to wrap up in a second. Obviously, we are still dealing with COVID. COVID is a scourge on the nation, on the world. In fact, we're up to 400,000 Americans dead, and it's believed actually to be higher than that. Tens of millions sickened or at least exposed to it. And so that has meant really difficult times, not just in terms of the physical health of the country, but I think the mental health of the country as well. And so one of the things I'm most excited about as Joe Biden takes office is his plan around vaccination, his plan around making sure that people are tested, making sure that people have PPE. These are all the types of things that we're going to need in order to get past this pandemic, which is ravaging so much of the country. And so I guess my point is, and if anybody wants to weigh in on it, is I encourage as many people as possible to get the vaccine. It's your choice to get the vaccine. We don't believe people should be required to get the vaccine. It is your choice to get it. But I strongly encourage as many folks as possible to get the vaccine as soon as you can, because it will help all of us get beyond this pandemic. And so as we sort of begin to make this transition into a new administration, it's important that we keep our foot on the gas, know that COVID is here. There are things we have to do to defeat this thing. And if we can do that, we can begin to rebuild the economy. We can begin to do all those things that we know are important for our country. And so I don't know if anybody else want to add anything to that part. I just feel like it's important to tell people the vaccine is important. It's part of our campaign. It's necessary if we're going to defeat this thing. And we urge folks to take it.
I just wanted to add,
we actually
Greg,
had
that,
a comment.
I was just in a Zoom today earlier with the city of Chicago. So there's a lot of information that will be distributed to childcare providers in the upcoming days as far as us moving on to 1B. So you guys keep your eyes and ears open. We're up next, and just be ready.
So we actually had a comment about that in the chat. So what Jamila just said, right? Child care providers' turn to take the vaccine is coming up. If you are a home care worker or a hospital worker that lives in the city of Chicago, you should have gotten a text message and an email from us that the vaccine is available. Please click the link and enroll to get your vaccine. On Monday, it opens up to a much larger crowd. And so this is your opportunity to lean in and help defeat COVID. We have a comment in our Facebook comments from Quiet Rain that says, I was opposed to taking the vaccine. Then I realized there's no I in team. So we all took it together. And today I will start moonwalking. Y'all know why. So a little humor with it, right? But all right, we members of this union are on the front line of the pandemic across all of our divisions. Child care providers are taking care of kids of essential workers. Nursing home, hospital, and home care members are providing care to people in our communities, and it is important that we do everything we can to protect ourselves. We have suffered through this for so long, and now there's something that's available that can make this easier, help us live with a little more ease. And so while Greg said, yes, we are not pushing people to, strongly encouraging folks to protect ourselves. And this is a care union, right? People are in the industries that they are in because they care about people. And so this is a way for us to protect ourselves and the people that we care for. The Biden Care Plan addresses things in all of our divisions, making home care more accessible for aging seniors, making child care more affordable for working parents, because we know that it is a burden for many families, even the ones who make more money because child care is so expensive, making sure that there's money for schools to safely reopen because we care about our kids, and making sure that there's money in state and local budgets so that we can make sure that programs are funded, that we provide right through the state. And so it's important for us to do all we can to advocate for these policies. When your organizer reaches out to you, answer that phone call and figure out what you can do to help, because this is something that is for the betterment of all of us.
That's right. That's right. I guess I should read just a couple more of the comments. Mary Beth Lindsay said, it was awesome to see a woman being sworn into the office of vice president, and the relief that the nightmare of the last 4 years has finally ended. Tracy Overturf said, maybe we can work on 401k plans for home healthcare workers and also holiday. Amen to that, Tracy. That is definitely something we want to work on. And it's something that we can have more of a possibility today than it was yesterday. So absolutely, if we continue to fight together, we can make a lot of these things a reality. Osmond says, I think I've never fought harder than I have in 2020. I'm tired now. Well, get you some rest, Oz. We're coming. We're gonna need you, brother. And then Lisa Gray says that it's very important to get involved in the union, much like Jamila said and others have said. I think at this point, are there any sort of closing remarks that each of you would like? If I could start with you, Jamila.
I just want to end it off by saying congratulations to both our president and vice president. We're about to start a journey working together to make things different than what we saw in the past 4 years. Child care providers, I would like for us to start this year off possibly getting vaccinated. If that's not your choice, that's fine. But I would like for all of our child care providers to be healthy, so we can stay open, so we can provide the care for our forefront workers and ourselves and our families.
Awesome. Maurice?
Yes, I would like to say to all my VA workers and everything, we still got a lot of fighting to do here for all the VAs from Hines Road and all other VAs. We still got a lot of fighting to do. We got to get this membership to growing so we can be stronger with the fight. And you know what? It's a beautiful day. Hey, solidarity, unity, everything to come now. With all this is going on now. Hey, all I see is blue now. So it's about to go down.
Well, much respect to my VA family. And Lily?
I just want to say to all the home care workers, please get involved. It's It's just so important. You really don't understand until you actually start learning about things. And we've got such an opportunity right now. Um, yeah, we've had to fight. We've had to fight like hell these last 4 years to keep what we had. And we know we're not going to have to fight that fight anymore. We know, yes, we're going into new fights, and we always will be, but they're good fights now. They're good, so we can focus on things that are really important instead of having to worry about losing your home because or your life because your president doesn't do anything to help you. So I can't wait to get to work on doing all this, and I really hope that others will get involved and just learn. Just learn. That's all you got to do. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to let Erica have the last word, but I do want to give one sort of final pitch to all of you all that are members of our amazing union. I would remind you all, we have a shiny new vehicle parked in Washington, D.C. Question for us is, what are we going to do to get that car in motion? Are we going to put some gas in it? We're going to put some elbow grease into it to make it move in a way that we need it to. And then, so here's my final pitch. We have our year beginning meeting on February the 6th. And so you will get more information about that either via text or email. You'll hear from us or your organizer. So I strongly encourage you to join our year begin meeting. We'll sort of go through what we went through in 2020, some of our victories, some of our challenges, and then talk a little bit about 2021 and what we hope to accomplish together as a union. And so with that, I'll hand it off to our Executive Vice President, who's going to bring us home. Erica.
Thank you. So I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us today to do this recap. Thank you for your comments in the section and for leaning in and sharing your thoughts on how you felt about today. In the last 4 days and in the last year, we've had many fights as a union. Our nursing home workers, right, have gone on strike, have almost gone on strike. Hospital workers, the same. Home care workers are going to work every day providing the care for people who need it so much. And our child care providers are making sure that our future looks bright. And so we are a union that knows how to fight. We are a union that has been able to stand the test of time and to beat back the attacks against us. Now that we have somebody new in the office that we can work with, that is the key word, right? We have to work with them. And so it is time to go to work on the much needed relief that we all know we need, on the world that we imagine together that we know we deserve. And there's nobody else I'd rather be in the fight with than you all. So thank you for joining us today. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
All right, great job, guys.
Everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Great job. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Great event.
Thanks, Lily,
Bye.
Jamila, Maurice.